There are bad celebrity moments. There are moments so painfully awkward, so secondhand humiliation-inducing that you physically have to pause the video and walk away from a screen. And this is one of those moments. Because somehow, one Chinese comedian managed to turn not paying for dinner into one of the most uncomfortable reality TV things. So let's talk about this person, Zhang Weiyi. Let's call him Zhang. The comedian who became infamous over a dinner bill, and why viewers walked away from this show not just cringing at him, but genuinely wondering what exactly was going on inside this marriage. So, a married celebrity couple goes out to dinner with friends, nothing unusual. At the end of the meal, someone goes to settle the bill. Very normal, right? Except in this case, one of their friends had already paid the bill in advance. But Zhang and his wife, actress Dongxuan, insist that they should be the ones to pay. This is a common social ritual in China. Friends fight over the bill all the time as a gesture of generosity and politeness. So at the beginning, nobody thinks much of it. Then Zhang takes out his phone, and that's when the thing starts to go off the rails. He stands at the cashier counter, phone in hand, clearly preparing to pay, but instead of actually paying, he just kind of freezes there. He opens one payment app, then another. Alipay, WeChat Pay, back to Alipay, back to WeChat. His fingers keep moving, tapping, reopening, but no payment goes through. And as everyone around him starts to realize something's wrong, Zhang keeps repeating the same line, "Oh, wait a second, just wait a second." He just keeps standing there in front of the cashier, staring at his phone like the answer might magically appear if he refreshes the app enough times. At this point, Dongxuan finally pulls out her own phone to pay, but Zhang stops her. He said, No, I will do it. He insists. Eventually, the truth becomes obvious. He doesn't have enough money in the account, and in the end, Dongxuan pays for the meal.
不能扫我的呀？
不用，你等一下。
是扫我的吧？
不用。
行吗？哎，你退回去，你看收没？
给你退完了。
已经退了，
你退完了。
你看收到吗？
给你退完了。
对，不行，我们组织的吃饭不能让你结账啊。
对。
不是，等会儿。
完事了。
等会儿，你退出。
完事了。
受不了啊，没钱。
Which actually should have been the end of story, but it wasn't. Because after the bill is paid, Zhang doesn't move on. Instead, he starts muttering to himself, "Why is there no money in my phone?" And it's one of those moments where you almost want to look behind you and ask, wait, who exactly are you asking? Us? The cashier? Because no one knows where your money went. All we know is that your balance apparently has zeros after the decimal point, and tragically, zeros before the decimal point too. And now, if this were just a guy forgetting to transfer money into the right account, it should be embarrassing but ultimately harmless. That's not what made this scene explode. What made it unforgettable was what happened after Dongxuan paid. Because Zhang didn't just feel embarrassed. He seemed wounded, like something much bigger than a dinner bill had just happened. His wife paying for him in public, on camera. Can you imagine? And after he had already tried to perform that, "Oh, I'm the husband, I will handle it" moment, it clearly hurt a nerve. And instead of laughing it off, or thanking her, or moving the conversation somewhere private, he keeps arguing, "Why did you pay for me? Why would you do that? I told you to wait. I was about to pay. The signal was just too bad. The app was just lagging."
啊，咋能没钱呢？
我付完了，走了。
我可以付的，你稍等一下嘛，干啥呀？
不是，我知道。走了，咱快点走，快点。
不是，我可以付的，你干嘛呀？
是不是？这咱
咋的？我付不了啊。
不是，门口很多人嘛，就是
我先付一下不就完？我可以付的。
行，你付完。
你别跟我抢行不行？
行。
And meanwhile, oh my god, these poor front desk staff are standing there, forced into this bizarre marital ego standoff they absolutely did not sign up for. He's apparently fighting to preserve some version of himself that he feels is slipping away in real time. But very sad for him, it's all happening on camera. And the reason this scene hurt such a nerve is because audience didn't see it as an isolated awkward moment. They saw it as a crack that exposed a such bigger dynamic between Zhang and Dongxuan. On paper, this relationship already came with a lot of pressure points. Dongxuan is older than Zhang by around 8 years. She had already been married before, and she also had a daughter from the previous marriage. And financially, the two don't appear to be on equal footing either. Dongxuan is a more established public figure with a longer career and a much stronger public profile. If the dinner incident had been the only uncomfortable moment, maybe people would have moved on, but then the show gave audience another scene, and somehow it was worse. At one point, the couple goes on a trip together, supposedly a romantic getaway. Except Dongxuan starts feeling carsick in the electric vehicle they are riding in. She looks nauseous. She is clearly struggling. And just when you think the scene can't get more unpleasant, Zhang suddenly starts gagging too. He says it's because of his throat that he has phlegm, a throat issue. But what viewers see is a man very obviously fighting the urge to throw up on camera. And then comes the details that made everyone recoil. Apparently, instead of spitting it out, he swallows it back down. Yes, he swallows it on camera, in front of his already nauseous wife. So now Dongxuan, who was already trying not to vomit, has to witness that, which of course makes everything worse. So she immediately grabs a paper bag and starts gagging too.
晕车，这比我厉害，酒味儿晕车。就是你也恶心啊？
我不是，我是纯咽炎。
你别这样勾出来，一会儿吐了。
我没有，我是咽炎。
哎呀，你把头扎起来，万一吐。
纸巾。
我要吐了。哎呀！
So now the theme becomes this horrifying relay race of nausea. One person trying not to throw up, and the other person swallowing back vomit. And both of them trapped in a sponsored vehicle while the camera crew just keeps filming. Honestly, the person I feel worst for in this situation might be the car brand. Oh my god, imagine paying for product placement and ending up with footage of your celebrity couple violently losing the battle against the motion sickness in your backseat. This was supposed to sell a lifestyle. Instead, it sold anti-nausea medication. And then there's also the watch story. Because just when viewers thought they understood Zhang's pattern, awkward, defensive, insecure, desperate to save face, the show handed another detail that made the dinner scene even more absurd. At another point, Dongxuan is driving and Zhang is sitting in the passenger seat. And very casually, so casually that it almost feels theatrical. He makes sure his luxury watch is visible to the camera. Not just visible, prominently visible.
我妈说我一步也不走，俩人把我抬上去。那个时候就是妈说，就是每次去部队探亲，然后会在北京转车嘛，然后说那时候他们俩就是妈一晕车难受。
那会儿7块肯定很贵。
吃了半只烤鸭。
你说那会儿一个人工资
？This kind of visible where you can practically hear the internal monologue. Is the angle good? Can they tell it's expensive? Should I lift my hand a bit higher? Or maybe adjust my glasses with the watch hand. Or maybe brush my hair back. And allegedly, this wasn't some cheap accessory either. People online were saying the watch was worth around 300,000 RMB, which is tens of thousands of dollars, which naturally made everything the same thing. If you had money for that, why did you look like a man being hunted by his own banking app at a restaurant? From now, if someone is questioning whether you can pay for dinner, the watch would be a great time to dramatically slam your wrist on the counter and say, "Who said I can't pay? Keep the watch. I will eat here until 2030. And then, somehow the internet found one more thing to roast him for. His headphones. Now to be fair, wearing headphones isn't a crime. Some people just like having them on all the time. Fine, no problem. But viewers started associating the headphones with him so strongly that the backlash got weirdly funny. At one point, people online were joking that his image was so catastrophically uncool. It was damaging the perceived value of the headphones themselves. By the way, the brand is Huawei, and previous time this headphone's price was quite solid, and the price is nearly $200. And because of him, the price was down a little. It's 100 less. And it's so funny. This is the first time I saw a show even pixelated someone's headphones. Yes, that's him. John. The show even pixelated his headphones. If he wears them, nobody else wants to. The jokes escalated to the point where people started saying brands wanted to relaunch their ads with a disclaimer reading, "Not worn by John." So now he's become kind of anti-influencer, the human equivalent of a warning label. And it's so rare that one celebrity whose endorsement makes people less interested in the product. And to be honest, what made this whole thing resonate wasn't just that John was embarrassing. Reality TV show is full of embarrassing people. It's that viewers feel like they're watching a very specific type of man unravel on camera. A man who wants authority, respect, and symbolic status of being their husband, but without the emotional depthness, generosity, or self-awareness that role actually requires. He wants to be seen as provider, and the more he tries to protect his pride, the more exposed he becomes.